Within 3 days, we'll dock at Ilium, and then—" Her eyes narrowed, as if she was trying to remember something that wouldn't come. Dantry wondered if she felt the same way he did, that something was wrong, and that she could only half remember why. "Captain, you're doing an excellent job," said their passenger soothingly. "I trust you'll get us to Ilium right on schedule." He ran a hand over the back of her head, a strangely intimate gesture, one that set Dantry's teeth on edge. Within moments, her eyes glossed over again. Satisfied, their passenger withdrew, clasping his hands behind his back. "When we reach Ilium, you will dock at the port and wait for me. We'll be staying a few days." "Days?" Navigator Paris blurted. She should have stayed quiet. Their passenger turned to her, soft smile still in place, but the navigator withered under his gaze. "Is this a problem, officer?" asked the man, whom Dantry had begun to suspect was not a man. A mod, maybe? But could mods get inside your head? "No problem," said Paris. Her gaze darted around the room helplessly, but nobody came to her rescue. I was only thinking about the supply line. Cree's waiting on this synth steel shipment." The more she spoke, the clearer her expression became. "Cree? Weren't we supposed to be going to Cree? When did our plans change?" The passenger stepped forward. "Don't let him touch you," thought Dantry wildly. There had been others on the bridge crew. Where were they? Something had happened to them, he thought, but it was so hard to remember. Paris raised her arm as if to ward off a blow, but the passenger simply gripped her wrist and pulled her arm aside. There was no violence in the movement, but Paris whimpered. His hand found the back of her head. "No!" thought Dantry madly. "You have to stop him before he—" It was too late. Paris slumped toward him, looking up at him as if he was an old lover. "Is the route to Ilium very complicated?" the passenger asked. "It's a straight shot," Paris slurred. "Then we don't really need a navigator, do we?" He leaned closer and whispered something in her ear. Paris was still smiling vacantly when he stepped away. He nodded once. Paris smashed her face against the controls so hard that Dantry heard a crack as her forehead collided with the dash. When she reeled back, he could see where her forehead had split open along the edge of the console. For a moment, Dantry considered stopping her, grabbing her by the hair and pulling her back. If only his hands would move. "This will take much too long," said the passenger, sounding bored. "You'll have to try harder." "Stop!" thought Dantry, because his mouth wouldn't let him say it. Paris leaned all the way back in her chair, and then, with the full force of her body weight, threw herself down. Her nose connected with the counter, forcing it back up into her skull, and her neck bent at a nightmarish angle. "Perfect," said their passenger, turning away. "I prefer a skeleton crew." Paris was making a small sound, almost like a baby, that grew wetter and fainter by the moment. Just before Dantry let the last bit of his conscious mind slide beneath the surface of the lingering fog, he remembered why they were going to Ilium. They were looking for the girl.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.